When I was a kid growing up in Akron, a lot of us didn't have fathers around the house. But man, did we have strong moms showing us the way. And every night when we watched SportsCenter, we had another strong woman showing us the way on something that mattered more than anything, sports. Later I learned she was an amazing basketball player as well. Her impact on millions of little boys and girls who lived and dreamed about sports can be measured. One of the greatest gifts of a trailblazer is the ability to turn the extraordinary into the ordinary. Arthur Ashe cut many paths into uncharted territory and was never afraid to face an opponent. And like Arthur, Robin Roberts is willing to bare her soul in order to open our eyes. And we're all witnesses. To be able to beat adversity the way she did is the real example of a back-to-back champion.
I think there's a myth that people who have succeeded, they never knew fear. We all have insecurities, we all have fears, but I don't let them prevent me from going for it. I believe everything happens for a reason. I do. We all have these bad things that happen in our lives. But the tragedy is not those things happening. The tragedy is if we don't take the time to understand the meaning.
To appreciate the path that Robin Roberts has taken, you have to understand where she comes from. Born in a small town in Mississippi at the height of the civil rights movement, to parents who made sure their children were aware of the turbulence of the world around them, made sure they learned from it.
They shielded us from so much, but they knew that we had to experience some because they didn't want us to be oblivious to the challenges that we were going to face.
Her father, Colonel Lawrence Roberts, was a decorated member of the legendary Tuskegee Airmen, the first African-American pilots in the U.S. Armed Forces. Her mother, Lucy Marion, was a teacher and the first African-American to head Mississippi's Board of Education. Robin is the youngest of their 4 children, each raised to believe they could make a difference.
Mom and Dad always made us feel special, as though you are a Roberts and you can do this. They made us believe that we would achieve in life.
They were the first to do so many things. So the least I could do was go for my dream.
A star athlete in college, she might have dreamed of a professional career on the court, but that wasn't possible in the 1980s. So she found a different outlet for her passion, a path that was as challenging as it was ambitious.
I just wanted to be a sports journalist at a time where women, especially women of color, you didn't see us.
She fought to get herself hired at local news stations throughout the South. Undeterred by the barriers, the raised eyebrows, the discrimination, she fought her way forward until her dream was realized. She was hired by ESPN.
In 1990, the business was very macho. Things that you would censor yourself now, in 2013, were the norm. For an African-American woman to come into that situation was almost unheard of at the time. It was extremely difficult every single day to come in and have to prove herself.
The NCAA championship game. The margin of error for me was less than my white male counterpart. If I fail, it is less likely that somebody who looks like me is going to be hired again. But it's usually a treat for the pass.
I never saw her show that pressure. All I saw was her take on every assignment and nail it.
Her first year at ESPN, men universally said, "We do not want a woman telling us sports." Robin's second year at ESPN, men said, "We don't want women telling us our sports, unless it's Robin Roberts."
I'm Robin Roberts for the first time ever. I was wondering if you were going to paint your face. You look forward to sharing others.
Remember having a conversation with Robin probably 7 years into her run here.
Convert from the field.
Enjoy where you are right now. It's the most exciting time of your career because you're going places.
We got a game going on.
That's why I'm here.
Robin was never going to be the kind of person who ever settled. She battled for bigger roles, better assignments, greater challenges. 15 years passed quickly, and then came an opportunity for something new, something out of her comfort zone.
When she first came into GMA, she was nervous in the beginning. Fortunately, we have a desk, so you don't see knees knocking, because she really did think the transition from sports to news was across a kind of canyon.
I was afraid that people were going to go, oh, come on now, what are you doing? And Hurricane Katrina comes along.
The storm came at the end of the summer of 2005. Suddenly, the new anchor found herself home in Mississippi, a reporter in a devastated Gulf Coast town, a daughter and a sister praying and searching for her family.
It's the day after the storm. I get to my mom's, and the home is fine for the most part, but everything around it is really bad. And Charlie said,